Check out our Facebook at Henry's Home Horse and Human Sanctuary for more information.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on the Cindy Cochran Show. We have a fun show today because I have such a fun person that we're going to be talking to. And first of all, though, I want to say thank you to Chris Wootton. Chris Wootton is our sponsor, and we love sponsors. And they're very important, and so we always want to give kudos to them. And, here's the deal, though. I really and truly would not have a sponsor. I mean, desperate for sponsors, yes, but I wouldn't have a sponsor if I didn't think they were a good person, they did their job, they are good for you, and they've helped a lot of people, and they've been around for 21 years. So, I just want you to know I do some vetting. Probably not as much as I should on my
I think you
guests.
do a blood pact.
You what?
You do a blood pact with them too, don't you?
No.
I think I saw that. You and Chris Wootton were cutting each other's hands, and then I don't know what you're doing with blood.
I would, though, if he asked
Yeah.
if he needed me to do that. But I'm not.
Oh, is that how you do the blood pact? Do that
Yeah.
again? You do it with the wrist? I thought it was always like you cut your hand and you shake their hand.
No, but that's where it gets.
What
the
cold are
best
you part
blood.
of? Because my cold, what they do is they cut the middle of the hand and then you shake.
Oh, gross! That's
the
terrible.
pact. Or you can do the pinky swear
Well, it's like
and
the
like.
toast. The toast is that way. Toast was medieval way.
Yeah.
They were.
You're talking to the mic so people can hear you.
Turn it on.
Yeah, you're talking
No,
to
just
it.
talking to
it.
They were saving themselves from being poisoned, so everyone would pour each bit of each of their wine in each other's glass, so that if one was poisoned, all was poisoned.
I love that.
That's the toast.
That's a great way to start the day. It's like, hey, before we have this meeting,
Before we
everyone
even
take
talk.
your cup. Just- you didn't put enough in that cup.
How trustworthy are you? I think that's funny because it took me, I guess, I was late 20s, found out what the handshake was about.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually like this, and they were holding, making sure you didn't have your sword and you couldn't get your sword. And I thought, that's hilarious. I'm surprised we still don't do that again with the gun. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let me see.
Especially today, yeah.
Especially today. So, anyway, I got interrupted. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say how, because you are on means that you've been vetted. And believe me, and I tell him that my husband, who doesn't like anybody or anything normally, is just, he loves Chris Wootton because he trusts him and he's seen him do such good things with our financial planning. So if you're getting scared about money, the banks or whatever, and you need him to talk you back from the ledge and out of the mattress, he's the guy to do it. So anyway, thank you, Chris. And now, drum roll, please. We have Jeff Barnes with us, and you're saying, Jeff Barnes? Oh, wait a minute. Jeff Barnes, you mean that set designer, that guy that has done so many different things and has been all over the place. I mean, all over the world, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, for the most part.
And so, Jeff, welcome to the Cindy Cochran Show.
Thank you very much.
It's so good to see you.
Likewise.
And seeing you over at Red Brick. We'll give them a shout out.
Yeah, hi, Red Brick. Thank you.
No, see, the big thing we have is because Debbie came over and I kept saying, well, I went over there and I just wanted some angel hair pasta and your waitress just had to go in the back and talk. She says, we don't have angel hair pasta. I found that out. So I asked him, well, how skinny is the pasta that you have? And it was nothing. So I said, could you add that to your, she said, no, I would not go back to my chef and say, we've got to add angel hair pasta because this lady over here says she won't come over here unless you have that. And so it's been like just a running joke. And so I go in there and I tell the waitress, I said, is Debbie in the back? And they said, yeah. Can you go back and say, somebody's asking for angel hair pasta? And I can't find it on the menu. What do we do? Yeah. And so anyway, she's cool. And I'm going to have her and her band fill this place and
play some music. That's
yes,
great. Yeah.
Play some music.
The music is good.
It'll be good. And if you could hum some song, Broadway song.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm not the singer.
Oh, you're just the set designer.
I'm just a visual person.
But the deal is so cool is that in Conroe, Martin Driskill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with a Kill, K-I-L-L.
Correct.
I put on one page, I put E-L-L, and then the other page,
it's K-I-L-L.
And he caught that. He is so good. He's my fact finder.
Yeah. And I can tell you the reason why it's K-I-L-L, because K-I-L-L is an Irish spelling. So Killarney or Kildare, any Irish spelling is the original spelling. And it is the name of my Uncle Ernest, who is now deceased, and he was, of course, redheaded and very Irish. Oh. So that's where that name comes from.
And so now, as Americans, do we put the K-I-L-L?
Well, there's different variations of it. C-O-L, and I get several variations depending on where people come from. But they're all derivative names. So it's been, I guess, changed over the years depending on where the families are that have that name.
I wish I'd had that explanation when came in. He goes, you didn't spell it right.
No, I'm not going to say that because it's typical. I get different spellings with it all the time.
Good.
Yeah,
well,
so it's good.
Jeff, it's just exciting that you're here in Conroe, and it's because of your mom, right? You came.
Well, no, it's not because of my mom. I'm from Conroe.
Well, no, I mean you came back to Conroe.
Well, we both came back simultaneously. We bought a house here simultaneously at the end of last year. So I am an old man that lives with his mother, but we basically flip houses. We're in real estate and design, so we're always buying and flipping, and so that includes in Houston in the Heights. That includes River Oaks. I mean, not that there's a lot of flipping going on in River Oaks, but we're in real estate, so houses come and go. And so that's how we ended up back. And we just had an opportunity to be in Montgomery County, and so we're here. And so it's a return to home.
And you have the store's called Martin Driskill.
Martin Driskill.
And it is, I went through and I started getting different pictures. And it's very eclectic in the sense that you have everything. Did you hear that word, eclectic? Okay.
I did.
You have so many different kinds of artifacts. It was
correct.
It's amazing.
Correct.
And it's so. You don't have like a room set up like here's the living room and here's
no.
You just have all the different.
Well, it really comes from being an antique dealer. I'm of many things real estate. My mother was an interior designer, so I grew up in the interior design business.
Yes.
So it's second nature to me. I'm a creative. I went into graphic design and web design and more technical stuff after college, but I have a degree in art history, so. All of those things kind of meld together to create this kind of concoction that we have, which is the essence of Martin Driskill. And so it really generates from my travels. I'm a Francophile. I travel to France frequently. And when you're in France, you become addicted to this thing we have, which is finding stuff at the flea market. And then that stuff just kind of follows you around, if you will. And so it's a place to put all that fun stuff you find and share it with other people.
Well, that's what it looked like. It looked like the paintings that you have, and then the one I did. I couldn't tell the way the shot was. I couldn't tell how big they were. It's the statues of looks like old, like very very old, and they're tall statues with robes on.
Are they a painting?
No, this looks like. This looks like statues.
I don't know what you're talking. I don't know about that.
I'll have to find
you find the picture and I'll give you a critique of what it is, or a provenance rather.
Where did you see it? I'll try to pull it up.
Okay, go to Martin.
Like their website.
Yeah,
it's on my website. Okay.
And they have all the pictures on there. And if you put it up on the big screen and show the.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. He's so
We have the
technically-
technology.
You have it. Easy go.
All right, so I have that.
Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up for the audience to see, so they're
Okay.
seeing exactly what I'm doing. So where am I going, Cindy?
Okay, scroll down.
Scrolling down.
Okay, keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
There's nothing more.
That's
There's
it.
nothing more. That's it.
Oh, where's the pictures? Where are all the pictures?
Well, this is the shopping cart.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to go to Instagram. I don't know where you saw it.
Yeah.
It was
this is-
Instagram. That's
Okay,
you're
go to
right.
Instagram.
something totally different,
Okay.
Cindy.
That's it.
Oh,
Here we
this
go.
one right here. That's an Italian ceramic. Oh,
Okay.
the face.
No, that's not the picture, but that's the page that I found it on.
I clicked it.
He
Why
just
isn't it
needs to
going?
scroll down a little bit.
It's loading. Relax, everybody.
Okay, no, but
Oh yeah. You
not real fast.
Well, you're looking for statues, right? Those are people.
No, I know. Okay, there's statues.
No, she has no idea what you're
There's a
talking
bust.
about.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh,
Right
that's
there.
That's in a trip to France. That's Chartres Cathedral.
Oh,
in
that's not
Chartres,
that's not
France.
in your store,
No, that's not in my store.
Cindy. Did you think that was in the store?
No, those are some very old medieval folks.
There you
Those
go.
date from about the
I
13th
love
century,
it, Cindy.
Not the third essential.
and they're actually part of the building.
Hey, Cindy's on the right track though, because she wants to
She's
see
scoping
everything.
it out.
I picked something that was very antiquish, and but I couldn't tell how tall
True.
they were. So you took a picture of this. and
I was
it's-
at an antique fair in
And
Chartres
I
Cathedral.
think that
and
building's in. That's where the shop. That's the shop right there,
No,
right?
that's not that. That's out of
He's
apartment
trying to
window.
make
That's
me-
the Seine in
I was
Paris.
trying to
Yeah.
make me look smarter. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't. Are we going to just look at pictures, Cindy, when we take it down?
I think if you did it real slow while we talked, it would be fine to see all the different things that they have in there. And
I'll go to
besides,
the. I'll go to the
Go
beginning.
to the top because the
Yeah.
top are newer things,
I like
which
that.
are
That's kinda-
newer stories.
okay,
but-
there's a story.
Well, that's just Monday morning. That's like me trying to wake up on Monday morning, trying to show a happy face. This is Avignon. This is a good thing to talk about. This is this is a image of Barjac in France, in the south of France, in Provence. And we do a French trip. I took 3 ladies to Paris in last September, and I'm planning the trip now, and that's what I said here, and that's why I was looking through old images during the graphics for it. And so I lead a group. It's an antique buying trip, and so we
Hey,
go
get it-
to.
Get your mic and point it towards you.
Yeah.
Here,
There
we
you
go
go.
to
Perfect.
we go to down to the south, and so this is one of the places that we
How
haunt.
fun. And you are the expert in the group. You're
Well,
leading
yes,
them
I'm the art historian. I'm the museum guy. I know Paris fairly well. I would venture to say, so I can lead you to all of the places where you can either spend your money or just shatter your feet from walking too much.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah.
What a talent. You're such a triple threat.
So we're planning it now. So if anyone is interested in traveling to France in September, late September, Paris Design Week is this, I think, the 7th through the 11th. So I go to Paris to the Design Week because there's a trade show there, and we go to the trade show, which is Maison et Objet, and shop for the shop, for our store, and then we of course do all the fun stuff on this. Subsequently after we
I'm
get
sure
the work
you
done.
do. I'm sure
Yeah, so-
you would lead them well in that. But if I have to ask how much that costs, I probably couldn't go, right?
Well, I can't tell you right now because I don't know. We're planning it right now, and that it. I'm not going to quote anything out on the radio because I just don't know. It's it can vary right down to the day before you leave, depending on what we do. But it's a very nice trip.
Okay.
We do business class.
If
and
you wanted to buy those statues, that's got to be a couple mil.
you can't get those statues.
Oh, I can't get the,
no,
the
you
statues.
can't get those.
Okay,
You can't
that's
get
okay.
those. That's okay.
I think that'll be all right.
That's okay. The
I'll
French
just-
government would not let you have them.
I've got a picture. It's fine. It's that'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so, okay, next picture. Oh wow.
Yeah, this is Paris Dreaming. We at Martin Driskill, we are a local dealer for Faro and Ball paint, and this is basically showing Faro and Ball paint. It's a product that we sell. It's paint that is created in Dorset, England. It's British, and it is known in the decoration community or the development community or the building community as a very high quality interior and exterior paint. So it's exclusive to here. We're the only one who has it. It's not in the Woodlands. It's not anywhere here. We're in
Probably wouldn't
Houston.
use it.
You can get it in Houston, but
Probably
we're
wouldn't
here.
use it on if you were flipping a house.
No, it's our higher end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
That's
yes,
that. Well, just the F&B. I was thinking of trying to think what is F&B stands for?
Farrow and Ball. It's very beautiful. The
Hello,
colors are
Cindy.
very beautiful.
Well, so if I had like a door I wanted painted,
If
I
you
could
had a
afford
front
that.
door, yes,
Yeah,
you could.
might
It'd
be
be
afford
beautiful,
that.
and
Okay.
the colors are beautiful. And I'm doing something on Instagram, which is I call Shady Saturday, and I highlight a shade every Saturday. So you can check on Instagram and see what shade I pick out next time. So I'll find images either that we've created or images that Farrow and Ball's created.
That is so cool.
So I don't.
Do people want you to stage their house? They're trying to sell a house.
Suzann gets that a lot. I don't do it as much because I'm doing more of the technical stuff, the website and the computer. But yes, she does do that. It used to not be called staging. It was she when I was growing up did model home merchandising for all the big builders at the time: U.S. Home, Pulte, Ryland, Wimpy, etc. So she did model home merchandising is what they called it then, and it was for track builders who they wanted to sell their products. So they'd hire an interior designer to come out and stage the homes or make them look like they were lived in, so
Right.
they would facilitate sales. So that's her background, and of course her career transmuted into much more later on, but that's what staging has become now. And staging is really a term that realtors use, I think, more so, or in the real estate industry.
HGTV came along.
And
just
HGTV
made
does
it.
do that a lot. So it's staging implies to me not as in depth as what she used to do in model home merchandising. So it's a little bit more like a vignette, I would call it, but depending on who you get to do it.
Well, I
But-
like the fact that
yeah.
it sounds like she was trying to make this look lived in for who they're going after.
Right.
What, it's
Yeah. Well, they have
family?
it's a marketing. They have a demographic that they're trying to reach, and so the color schemes are picked for a certain reason, and depending on where the community is located, will dictate how the design is achieved or directed. So that it will stimulate sales. It's really just about sales at that point.
Well, who's come into your store since you've been there? Who's come into your store and had the weirdest request?
Weirdest request. I don't have a weird request. We've had a lot of ladies from the Woodlands. We're getting a lot of paint because we're on Farrow and Ball's paint on their site. So
Right.
we're getting a lot of paint sales, which, and it's an interesting, psychology because they come in for one reason and then end up, getting transfixed and end up with something else. We had a lady that came in yesterday or 2 days before, and I'm sure she left with more than she thought she was going to go when she came in. So it's a good thing. I mean,
I only do that at grocery stores.
I know.
But I've never been in in an antique store where there is someone who is professionally, did Broadway shows and movies and all that. And so now it's interesting because I was in charge, and Richard will go, oh my, I was in charge of staging commercials sets. And that meant you only needed this much is all you're going to have to go. And I'd have to go around to the offices and everything to find out what people had that I could bring it in there to make it look better. And it was, somebody said, if you're doing this, I'd love to see your house. And I went, no, I'm doing
Isn't
this.
it just deer heads?
Yeah,
Well, people say that to me. They're like, I bet your house is crazy at Christmas. And I'm like, by the time I get home, I've done it for everybody else. I don't really want to do it for myself. So I don't usually put a Christmas tree up anymore, and I love Christmas. But it's just that kind of thing. You just
Right.
get worn out on
Yeah.
doing what you do every day because
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Exactly. And my husband will go by the TV. He said, you are addicted to this network, and you've done nothing to carry over to the house. Why haven't you done something?
yeah.
And I said, well, because usually my husband's the one that puts all the decorations up, and it's deer heads, and he has pictures of deer and raccoons. Not just one of them. He has two of them. It's the same picture. You just have a different frame, and he has that up on the wall. So people come in and go like,
I like it.
that looks just like that one. I went, it does. It looks just like that one. But his mother was a big artist. She'd go out and get these really expensive artists that would, she thought this would help her in the community and, and raise her status. And so it was funny. And they got all these paintings and stuff, and I didn't know what to do with them because he said, but these are expensive, and it's going to, you can make money off of it. And I said, after you die? And he goes, yes, I would wait till after I die. I wouldn't be selling my mother's paintings yet. So it's funny because people really do come in and they really do judge. I know you're not supposed to judge, but people judge you by what's hanging on your wall.
It's subliminal. I don't. I think it's just a feeling you get when you're in a good interior or a bad interior for that matter.
So I'll never invite you over to my house.
Oh no,
I'm
I'd love
just
to come to
telling
your
you.
house. But
Oh no, it would be. I mean, we'd laugh a lot, but it would be difficult. So you must. When people say, "What do you think?" My aunt painted this. What do you think of it?
Well, it depends on what it is, but you just sometimes you have to be diplomatic. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth closed. Sometimes you have to pick your battle and fight another one later. You know what I mean? And you just dance around an issue because there are reasons why people have certain things in their home.
Of course,
There's sentimental reasons,
right?
All kinds of reasons. So you have to be careful in terms of. I think interior design particularly is much more about psychology than sometimes even the creative part of it.
Well, it's
or the color part of it.
It is, and it is emotional. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
And so when people want to feel like they know what they want, and they feel like I know what's best for me, and just because you say you like it doesn't mean I'm going to like it, and that kind of thing. And you watch these shows, you watch all these shows, and have so many different attitudes, and you want to slap them.
The shows are difficult because the shows condense a lot of what goes on into 2 minutes, and it is not realistic.
Right.
So I don't watch them. I don't really care. I need to watch them for that matter. But you definitely can see its effect on the general public.
Yes, and
immediate gratification kind of thing, and that you can just turn something over so quickly.
And you walk in somebody's house and you know what they watch because all of their pillows are karate chopped, and so it's just it is funny because it is trending, and I feel so bad for how much they spend on trying to look like what's trending right now, and then later on they're like, we should have kept that wall. Why did we tear all those walls down?
It's noticeable. I mean, I've been in this business for a long time, and I get tired of a certain aesthetic, which will remain unnamed, but you just get it over and over and over again because it's a safe kind of bet, and it's there's a lot of variables that cause it. Realtors influence people to decorate one way or the other.
Yes, that's true.
The idea of selling the house or not selling, it's difficult to retrain or educate in some ways. Sometimes people,
because you think
it's
that
a
sometimes
challenge.
the realtors they have a cookie shop somewhere where they can they tell people just go get these chocolate chip cookies, or be baking your chocolate chip cookies, or here's the candles you need to buy, and this will. And people walk in and gagging.
Yeah, I know.
The cookie and the candle.
Yeah, their intention is good, and they achieve their goal. But sometimes it doesn't contribute to a real diverse kind of design aesthetic in most people. It's kind of white and gray and safe.
On the HD, when they're showing people different houses, and it's really hot because they're talking about how hot it is. They walk in there, they have fires going, and trying to make it look cozy and all that. And they go I'm sorry, we got to turn the AC up.
You're right.
But because you have to deal with so many people and all the things that you're dealing with, you mentioned a minute ago that you're a historian. Are you a historian just about France or about Conroe? No,
I'm not a story about Conroe. I wrote about France for my thesis. So I took French in high school here in Conroe, and in college 4 years here and 4 years in college, and then had to have it for my master's degree. I had to translate Baudelaire, which is 19th century French. So the reason they do that is because they want you to be able to be in any library in the world. If you're writing on French art, they want you to write from a primary evidence, which if you're writing on French art, typically the primary evidence will be in French. So they want you to have the ability to read the French straight away.
Right.
Because they want you, the actual document, the primary document. Anyway,
okay, but how did you pronounce words that you learned French
well,
in Conroe?
I've been to France enough now that I read it and write it, of course, better than I speak it, because I don't practice it that often unless I'm there. And then when I'm there, it's typically I'm working and I'm in a flea market situation, so I'm dealing with an French antique dealer, of which I probably know. Most of them speak English, so it defaults usually to English because, English is lingua franca even in France. So I don't even get to practice it very much there. So,
well, I know that when I went on a trip to Canada with my aunt and uncle, and he said he understood. He's going to be able to speak French to the Canadians. And I said, oh, great. So we got kind of lost when we got to Montreal. And so he said, there's somebody. So he called, and he goes, avec une dirty. And he started using.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. I'm so happy to have a friend. And so he was so bad. I was so embarrassed because they kept looking at him like, and they just shook their head. And he says, well, I'm American.
Yeah.
And they go, it was funny. They go, like, really? And I'm just trying to find, it's something about it was like something, oh shoot, I can't remember the name. Anyway, what they heard and what that meant to them was someone who was very obsessed with women's breast. And so they tried to say back to him, don't say that. Don't ask for that. You're not asking for the right thing. And it was just embarrassment altogether. And so we quit doing that kind of stuff because we realized it's not
you
going to
can't
work.
get into trouble. I mean, it's possible.
Yes. But Canada was so beautiful, and every man was good looking. Every woman was not. It was the funniest thing I've seen. I said, how can all these French people look? The men look so good. The women just look ridiculous. I was only 16 at the time, so that was my judgment call. Yeah. But anyway, if you have the knowledge of Conroe in any way, what kind of history do you have?
History. I didn't answer the question. I think you asked me about historian. Well, it's just our history degree. So painting, French painting.
Okay, but in Conroe, because you come from Conroe.
I am from Conroe, yes.
Okay, and so did you learn? Were you interested in the history of Conroe?
I'm not interested in so much the history of Conroe, although I am interested in somewhat in my family's history here, because my family homesteaded in the 1870s here in Conroe.
And
my grandmother, who we just lost in 2022, graduated in 1938 here. So the kids, which is part of our family, and the Driscolls and the Martins, so therefore Martin Driskill is from all of those people. So I'm interested in all that history.
Well, now I remember seeing.
It's more genealogy than it is history, really.
Well, I've seen Driskill, but in different things, and because my last name's Cochran, I go stand beside the thing, and they take pictures. I said,
right.
I told them not to name the street after me, but they have and the Cochran House at the Heritage Museum and all. So the Cochrans were a big deal.
When the Cochrans had the jewelry store, my mother is friends with some of the Cochrans who had Cochran's jewelry store when I was growing up, which was on the square. So I don't know if you're related to that family, but there may be more than one family. I don't know their genealogy.
Well, we kept trying to ask, my husband's parents, like, have you ever delved and see if we are related to him? I said, no, I think they come from the other side of the track or something. I don't know if we are related at all to them. And it was, but the history from the Woodlands and Conroe and all that connected together is
it's
is
interesting.
very
But I didn't become interested in art history. I went to Parsons School of Design straight out of high school. So I was in New York doing technical stuff. And then I got into history when I came back to Dallas and went to SMU. I went to SMU and was doing the same thing there. And then art history got my bug. I started in, I think, Pompeii and, classical stuff. And I went to Greece in college, in the late 80s, several times with the Greek scholar at SMU. So I fell in love with all the Greek stuff. And then subsequently led to French stuff. I got off into the French because, of course, I spoke French or was studying French, and I had always had. So I wrote on French Surrealism, which was the name of Greek, Belgian Surrealism, really. But
that's amazing.
Painting.
Good grief. Well, now tell me. This is going to sound stupid, but what's your favorite? What stage play that you do in Broadway that was like your favorite?
That I've seen?
That you did the set designing for.
Well, I did set design way back here in the beginning, at here on the Crichton stage.
Yes.
And we did Truth About Cinderella, and we did Dracula. I think that was the best one at the time, because it was tall and it was had big French doors and a big fireplace with a painting on the top of it, with a scrim where they could do the trick where she's behind the the painting and all that. That was the most fun. That was actually the first thing I did do there. So that was the most fun. Most fun. Big staircase, big round staircase on one side of it.
It had to be a culture shock to go to Broadway.
Yeah.
Okay. And but I've seen some stuff at the Crichton that you just go like, good grief, that I've seen stuff at Broadway as well, and you go like, that's not too different to we got that. That was good. But I can imagine if you were doing the set design, how much more authentic it would be. That
well, yeah, I try to use it. I try to use the art history. I mean, it's about color, and it's about the tricks of the trade in terms of forced perspective, or how do you get all of that set on the stage? How do you stay in budget? You're an art director.
That's right.
So you have a budget.
That's right.
Hypothetically. And okay, well, money looks good when you spend it. So how are we going to make this look good? So it's all of those variables. You have to kind of figure out how to make the most bang for your buck.
Right.
Given all of the variables you are handed in any given project, and that goes for interior design too. You don't know what you're going to be. What's going to be the parameter of what you have to work with.
Well, I'm sure everyone's going to be different. Did you do movies? Did you set design for movies?
My set design really came from, I was an art director in Dallas. So I'm in Dallas, and I worked for years for Neiman Marcus as an art director. And what art director means is it's not standing in the store. It's literally in a warehouse in a studio. And you have photographers and stylists, what we call prop stylist.
Right.
And we basically create the catalogs or the images that you get in the catalog when they send you the Christmas catalog in the mail in December. And you get that catalog, or you get whatever catalog.
They still do that?
They still do that.
Oh,
it's called direct mail, Neiman Marcus Direct, for instance. So Dallas is known as one of those communities. There's a lot of retailers, Mary Kay, Frito-Lay, the Container Store, Radio Shack used to be there, and Neiman Marcus, Wisteria. All of these direct mail companies are in the warehouse district in Dallas. And so there's an army of people like me who are stylists. So they basically say, okay, we're going to shoot this catalog. Okay, and it's a room scene, or it's a painting on a wall, and it's a chair, and it's a rug, and it's a fireplace screen. I create the set for that. Okay, so and then put the camera on it and shoot it. So, and then that goes to the creative director back at Neiman's, and they say yay or nay, and then it goes in the catalog, and hopefully you buy that rug and that chair and that fireplace screen.
Well, I knew that Neiman Marcus catalog was like a big deal, and it was to have that and to even think about. Just don't even think about it because you couldn't afford it.
Right.
But it was a big deal to have a Neiman Marcus.
Well, the famous thing about Neiman's is that it's famous for its Christmas catalog, and it's, of course, famous for fashion. Well, fashion they shoot in New York. They don't shoot fashion in Dallas. But they shoot all of the home stuff in Dallas. They have a massive warehouse in Irving, and where they build rooms inside of that warehouse, and that's where we shoot. I mean, furniture, all of the Horchow stuff is shot there. So there's an army of people that make all that happen, so colors, painted walls, paint people that do faux finishing and all kinds of on the walls. It's very elaborate what
Well,
they go to do it.
I know because you've traveled to France so much, and you've been to Paris, and you do all the, I guess the wine tasting that you've done, and you've been to real wine tasting places, and and Richard has such probably so many questions to ask you. That's why he pulled the mic so close to him. You wanted to ask him some questions about the wine that he is.
I don't know. Do I know about wine? Go ahead.
I'll
I'll see what I can do.
I thought y'all were talking about wine, and you said, can I be in on the conversation? And I
No,
said,
I never said that.
I thought that's what you meant. When you grab the microphone and put it up close to you, I think you want to be part of the deal. So that's why. And he knows everything about everything. So ask about bowling.
I'm a terrible bowler.
That's what Richard's like fanatical about bowling. And but I think it's just so fun to think of all the places you've been and what you've done and all your your expertise, and you're here in Conroe, and people can come into that store and have someone of your
Yes, I'm
magnificent-
there. I was there this morning. I'm
Yes,
there today.
that's right.
I'm there most of the time. I have a little cubby hole in the back that I sit in.
and he's even got his shorts on, so he's ready for
No, I
summer.
don't have shorts on.
Wait, I thought
I do
you-
not have shorts on.
I thought you.
Please
wore-
don't look-
I haven't broke the shorts out.
Don't
for
look
this
under
summer.
the table, Cindy.
No.
I started
Please
to.
don't.
I don't.
I knew
just-
you
I
were.
I thought
gonna
when he walked by, I thought he had
No,
shorts
I
on.
don't have shorts on.
So I thought that's good. I'm
Yeah,
glad you're comfortable.
So we're talking about design, and that's kind of like y'all. The shop is for
Yeah, it's
unique
design,
items,
right.
design stuff, and probably one of my favorite design shows I've ever seen is MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of this, Cindy.
I've
Of course.
But
I've watched that.
it's always funny to me to see certain people when you see their house. It's like, oh, this guy is still 12 years old.
well, and it's that or what books they read and what music they listen to. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Kind of, you tip it off by.
Or they're like, oh, their wife told them to hire an interior decorator, and they look way too nice.
It's
Right.
too. Yeah, it's faux. It's not correct. It's not realistically them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's what your mom would make it look like it was realistically lived in.
Well, yeah. The goal is to try to. Obviously, you're working for a client, so you want it to be about them. The easiest thing to do, or what we try to do, is what is your function? How does it function? I mean, how do you live? What's the story? What do you do? Do you entertain? Do you cook? What do you do on a Saturday afternoon when I'm not here? I mean, and how do you want the house to be?
Yeah.
How do you inhabit it? How do you live in it? And the questions follow from that.
Want two pictures of the same picture framed
Right.
to throw
exactly.
people off. I like it.
Or we want his and hers. She's got one idea, he's got one idea.
Well, look, you got this fireplace.
Well, if you lose this one, we'll have another. We're
You got
good.
this fireplace. You have to have something on each side of that fireplace, and so it has to
Well,
be.
you know, I wonder if there's a market. I bet there is. There's got to be. Is for Airbnbs.
Oh yeah.
And because I've stayed in several of them, and it's funny. Like I said, it's kind of like MTV Cribs. Like you stay there,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, this is clearly they lived here, and then they moved, but they just left all their furniture here, which you can tell. And then you've been to some where it's like, oh man, like I don't even want to touch anything. This is too nice.
Yeah, that's a fine line for me. Sometimes that's kind of eerie if you go into someone else's, or you feel like you're in someone else's space.
Yes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then at the same time, it can be really interesting if we stay in apartments in Paris and the south of France. We don't rent a hotel room. I rent an apartment, and so they do the same thing there. And so
Yeah.
it's somehow magical there because I don't care how many times I've been. It's always great to be back there, and it doesn't feel strange in the least. So it's a matter of almost too many personal things. I think sometimes.
Well,
Yeah, unless they have that paper thing on the toilet lid.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's all-
sanitized,
Well,
yeah.
like even staying in a hotel, I like staying in the Airbnb because it has the functionalities of a home.
Yeah.
Right.
Opposed
Yeah,
to
and you
like
can cook and you have more amenities. Yeah.
and it's really weird, and especially when there's a couch and you're like, oh, I feel like people sat in this couch and watched TV. Some people get weirded out. I'm like, at least we know it's comfortable. Like we know it's there's a dead body underneath, but. But I
It
feel like
has a story.
I feel like there
Yes.
is a design need for that, though. I can see people hiring or
Yeah.
going to your store.
Yeah,
to
and
be like,
people want more personal experiences and more kind of, I think, really want a relaxing experience. You know, they want to get away, especially when they're in that situation where they're in a vacation situation. So it's a matter of layering up. You know, you want the interior to be as layered as you can. When I say layered, I mean, you know, intellectually layered, not only physically layered, but, you know,
Just don't tack up
Yeah.
the rules on
books
the back
and
of the
things
door.
that make it feel,
Be outta here
you
by
know,
11.
like it's natural or like it was organic.
Right. Right.
You know, that's
it's
good.
almost like you have to go to like to be educated in design, because I don't know anything, and like when I lived by myself, it looked like I was
Lived by yourself.
Lived by myself. Mm-hmm. And my mother was always like, "Are you ever gonna buy this?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll look on Craigslist." And it's just like whatever free, I can pick it up. Call my buddy, hey, can you come help me pick up this drawer or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's like, so you come in and you're like, all right, this is.
Well, that's what we call bitten by the bug. If you've been bitten by the interior design bug, that's what I was referring to earlier, which was when I go to France, it's like there's so many things I can't imagine that I can get home without it.
And
So-
how would you get home?
Well, we
You
ship it now. We
ship
ship it now. But there were days when we would go buy suitcases and pack suitcases full, and then just drag it back. But you have to pick those battles too. You know, you can't take everything. But
Right.
So it's a matter of what you're interested in. You know, what you read, what you watch on TV, or you know, what
Well,
movies you
the
like.
fact that you learn all that ship lap,
Mm-hmm.
and
Trend.
that- yeah, and and then the different names for different things, and so these people come in and they go like, "Oh, I love the shiplap," and I know you didn't know that before you walked in. You probably
That's from Joanna Gaines over in Waco, probably on those HGTV shows.
Oh,
That's that farmhouse look.
Yes, the
And they've done
farmhouse.
it. They've done that in Round Top. Round Top really influenced a lot of that, and it's real. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of it.
You're over it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I mean. So there's got to be what's coming next. You know, like what's the style next? Are they predicting what's going to be the new
Well,
trend?
you know, there's always the color story. Pantone, which is a color think tank, if you will. They always do a color, which I don't necessarily agree with sometimes. But, you know, you just have to kind of follow. I kind of follow my nose, and I know that doesn't say anything or mean anything to most people. I just kind of, I get tired of things because I look at things all the time. I'm doing the design all the time. So I'll go, I'm tired of that.
Do you advise people like this? This is something you can get tired of real quick. So
Yes, I'll do
Okay,
that.
yeah.
But see, I'm not typical. I'm not a typical designer. I'm not very conservative in terms of design. I like a lot of color. I like, you know,
Wallpaper?
a wallpaper. And so wallpaper is a trend that's actually, I don't know if it's peaked yet or not, but it wasn't there for a long time, and we're
all of a
wallpapering
sudden-
everything.
Right.
So,
The
and
ceiling.
there's maximalism, you know, there was minimalism.
Yes.
You can see where design is coming from. I mean, New York looks like one thing and LA looks like another thing, and traditional Houston looks like another thing. So there are trends within trends within trends, and locality, you know, local kind of isms, if you will. So it's a matter for me of just being authentic and B, authentic again, meaning authentic design-wise or formally authentic, and also personally authentic to what I want to do, what inspires me, you know,
Right.
and that's what I like to do.
Well, we didn't mention the fact that your mother, Susann, is that how you pronounce it?
Susann, yeah,
I
Susann,
thought maybe
Susann
yes.
Pennington.
Okay, Pennington.
Susann
Oh, my
Pennington.
word. She comes straight out of it. I can see her walking down that staircase.
Yes, Susann Pennington.
Oh yes, but she couldn't be here because she got caught with a customer, and you know, customers come first.
Customers come first.
You're a
Unfortunately,
fiduciary
they
on
have
that?
to. I'm
Yes.
fiduciary to the customer.
That's right, and so she stayed there, and he came. And
Yeah, we had a big delivery of Fair and Ball paint today. So Fair and Ball, to plug Fair and Ball again, there's the new finish. There's a brand new finish, and that just came in. It's called Dead Flat. It's great for the families with kids who can scrub the walls.
Oh,
So, yeah.
it's called
Dead,
Dead
flat.
Flat.
It's dead and it's flat, but it's really pretty.
Well, now see,
I need to paint the walls here.
It's really
I've been
pretty.
kind of trying to figure out design wise what to do in here.
You need some
got a
color in here.
picture.
I want to be
Yeah.
loud, but not
Color.
too distracting on camera.
No.
that's fine and right, but it's now that's maybe puke green. What do you think that is that green?
This is gray. Well, and
That's
I thought it was just white.
this is gray, and you have to understand you're under fluorescent lights, and the fluorescent lights are green.
I know. Y'all just have to understand. I look so much better in person than I do with these lights on top of me.
These are
and
not
they
these are not attractive lights.
No, they're not attractive lights. That's going to be my
Well,
story.
it wasn't really my first choice. I think it was the choice that was made for me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He had
I understand,
no say in
understand.
it.
understand.
But so your mom couldn't be here, and she's with the customer, and I hope it was a big sale, and it was.
Yeah.
I'm sure
it will be. It was a lovely little lady painting her house. She
Oh, you
was
guys are right down the
redoing-
street.
She's redoing her house.
So you're at 115 West
West Davis, which is 105.
West Davis.
If you've gone to the train tracks, you've gone too far.
There you go. That's right.
I mean, I already got that one down.
Range.
I'm not on the right. I'm on the.
You're
I'm
on the
on
right
this side
side.
of the train tracks.
But now,
We're in
what
the
are
old
you
Carter
across?
Drugstore building. So behind what used to be the old Carter Drugstore, for those Conroeites
Is
out
that
there.
is that where St. Thomas is?
It's where St. Thomas is. St. Thomas is in the front on the square, facing the square, and we're in the back.
Oh, you're okay.
Where Chop
Do you know where
House was.
Carmelita's Mexican food restaurant
Yeah.
is?
Yes.
We're right beside her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's
okay.
where the Chop House was.
The door is orange. It's vermilion, reddish orange.
Was it Chop House?
I don't know. I know
Formerly?
that my mother, Susann Pennington's friend, Amy Sue, said that the Cartwrights had it, and it was a shoe repair at some point in its history. I don't remember that part of it.
Okay.
And I don't know what it was immediately prior to us, but it was empty, and we renovated it to a certain
That's
standard
cool.
when we moved into it.
See, I came.
So you have
first
to
time.
come see. You haven't even seen it, have you?
No, I was going to come by there and
Oh,
take
please
pictures
come.
of y'all
Please
and
come.
take pictures.
We'll have
of
another
It's-
event. I'll invite you to
it's
another event.
down. I think 2 blocks down there.
It's just right here. Yeah.
It's
It's
going
like 2
toward
blocks.
the-
It's
It's right
like
here.
2 blocks.
Literally right there.
walk that way.
Walk
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you always
You
tell
know
people,
what? Okay.
point.
Do you
You
know
gotta-
Conroe? Do you know the old Warrenburger building? Warrenburgers was
Actually-
on the corner there. Do you not know it? Okay.
I know where you are. I know exactly. I
Yeah,
know.
well, I'm across the street from the old Warrenburger building for all of those Conroe people out there.
Okay, and
I think it's where the Chop House was.
It
Well,
wasn't a restaurant. There's no
Well,
restaurant.
no. Chop House was a church.
The
and it-
church. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The church.
But like it was a weird building because it was. You didn't really know how big their space was because
it's 22,
Yeah, so
2300 square feet, roughly.
see, that's when I went into the Chop House. I thought I was getting pork chops, and I thought I opened that door, and it was,
a church.
It's
service.
a church. Well,
church.
that makes sense because there was the cross there when I got there.
and it stood for Conroe
House of Prayer.
And there were people have. Did they give food to people?
Yes.
The homeless- it
Okay,
was
the homeless
homeless.
people. Because there have been several people who've come in and mail has come that we've forwarded.
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
And
okay.
I think they've redone the location. I don't know
Yeah,
exactly
it's
where
called
it is
Miracle
on top of my head.
City, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, I'm
Do
glad you
homeless
said
people
that.
show up?
Huh?
Homeless people show up?
A few have, and
Yeah.
we've tried to find. I tried to find where the forward was to send them, and I don't.
We'll
I had to
tell
find that.
Luke. Luke,
Yeah.
read us.
Yeah, people,
and say-
people think we're utility billing here.
Yeah.
So we get that kind
And
of.
of course, we had a bunch of mail at the beginning, in which we've, I guess, sent back to the post.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll tell him that go over there and visit you and say,
Yeah, come visit. Yeah,
where
we'd
he
love to
is.
have anybody come visit us. Love to.
Yes, and y'all are
Just
friendly,
for a look.
welcoming, and
Just for a look.
Suzann, I'm sure, has stories to tell, right?
Yes, she does.
Okay, and great. Guess what he just gave me? A 2-minute warning. Can
my
you do it in
gosh.
30 seconds?
What?
The story that you were going to tell me out there, and you said,
I don't know what story. What do you want a story? What story do you want me to tell? I can start. 2 minutes?
Yeah, I have 2 minutes to finish and
Okay.
be out of here. But I'm going to have your mother and you back.
Okay.
And we'll let her be here to verify what you say
Okay.
is true.
It's
okay?
true. It's true. And
And
I'll
because-
let her listen, and we can vet what I've said.
Yeah, yes, and come back and here's my disclaimer.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, Jeff Barnes.
Yes.
He's over at Martin Driskill,
115 West Davis.
115 West Davis. And so you guys that knew it formerly as the Chop House, that's where he is now. And I'm telling you, I'm sure that must be a huge culture shock when somebody walks into your store and
people
go
are-
like, "You're in
people are-
Conroe?
Yeah, people do that.
You look, you're gonna look so
Yeah. So.
bougie." Okay,
thank
so
you.
tell your mom.
I will,
said she
appreciate
looked
it.
very bougie and she looked so pretty. Okay, so we will see you tomorrow. We have Carly Kremlin. she was the girl that was
Yeah.
sitting next to you at the bar.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
I
got,
just met her. I love talking to her.
yeah. So she'll be here. She's blind.
Yes.
And has great stories for us to find out about. Okay. So also I want to say thank you to the first responders. We love you. We respect you. We don't know what we'd do without you. Okay. So bye. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
All right.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran's show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice